Hello and welcome to Minisode 35.
Yeah, hello. This time we're talking about if you could travel back in time to the opening day of any ride, what would you choose?
Any ride or any roller coaster? Make up your mind. You said roller coaster in this tweet.
Yeah, let's say roller coaster because ride is too wide. Maybe we'll do ride another time, non-coaster rides.
So we got a lot of responses with this. I think people didn't. It wasn't particularly a podcast tweet. It was just a tweet, but
it's inspired my
yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about. Yeah, we got a lot of answers, and they range, right? They range from some modern rides. Some opened a few years ago. Last year, year before that,
Okay.
whatever, and others, opened in
Ages
the
ago.
90s, 2000s, or
Yeah.
before that, or even. The dawn of roller coasters. And I'd like to say off the bat, why would you choose something that opened only a few years ago?
Maybe it's their favourite ride. Because I was tempted to say Helix. Just because it is my favourite ride, but then I think that's a bit dumb. Because I don't think it would be that exciting. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think some rides get more of a hype, like, on opening than others.
I would almost definitely go back a while, right? Because you got to think, I mean, at the moment, we live in a period of time where roller coaster development, there is quite a lot of development, right? But there aren't many new roller coasters that really blow people's minds.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go back to, I mean, Old Towers is a perfect example. If you go back to 1994 with Nemesis,
Yeah.
Nemesis opened as the only inverted roller coaster in Europe. No one had seen anything like that in Europe before, And not only that, it also, heavily used the terrain and was just a hell of a unique ride generally. Hence why it got like 3-4 hour queues. 4 years on, Oblivion, same thing. Only one of its type in the world, goes into a hole for some reason, extensive campaign,
Yeah.
4 hour queues.
Yeah.
To me, those just seem way more interesting than Taron. Taron's cool. I don't think many people chose Taron, but just example, Taron's cool, but it was a ride it'd been done before. It wasn't
see what you mean.
mind-blowingly unique. Even though, if I went back in time as me, then Oblivion wouldn't be that interesting to me, but you'd be around all these people.
Okay, so we're saying that if we're going back in time, we're transporting into the body of someone who's only lived up until that point in time.
No, I was saying that I was going back as me.
So you wouldn't choose Oblivion because you know what it's like?
Well, no, what I mean is, I'd still choose something like that, even though I do know what it's like.
Okay, just so you can observe the hype.
Yeah, because it must have been immense
Okay.
for people to look at this ride and go, what the hell is that?
Yeah. So we're going back in time as us with all the knowledge we have.
I would say so.
Okay. So what are you going to choose then?
I don't know. It's difficult. I as I said, I definitely choose... I wouldn't choose what would you class as a well-rounded coaster or a good addition. I wouldn't choose Helix. I wouldn't choose Taron. I'd choose something that was one of a kind or world's first or very unique.
Okay. What's your options then? Nemesis,
No,
Oblivion,
I'd
big one?
steer clear of the UK
Oh.
just because something different.
What, so like one of the recent big American ones?
There would have been a lot of hype when Magnum XL 200 opened in Cedar Point as the world's first roller coaster to over 200 feet high.
Yeah.
Similarly with the big one. I mean, the big one was the world's tallest roller coaster at one point in time, so that would have had immense hype as well.
What about like Formula Rossa?
No, don't really care.
Not feeling that?
No. Then there's stuff like X2. Is the world's first 4D coaster. I'm sure that would have been something else, especially with all the kind of stuff that it's got going, fire effects and onboard audio.
Right.
That must have been really cool. But then you could even go back to like the first modern launch coaster or the first magnetic launch coaster, like Flight of Fear.
But did that get a lot of hype?
I don't know, but can you imagine?
You've never been on that before and you get launched.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was only a few launch coasters in the world before that, and none of them were as intense as that one. Or even Accelerator, the first intimate hydraulic launch coaster. Don't know.
So you wouldn't choose Kanan, which is your favourite
No.
ride? Not enough hype for you to be able to go back.
I didn't have all the theming when it opened.
Oh, didn't it?
No.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
A lot of theme parks in Germany stagger the theming. So they build the ride one year, and then over the next close season, they theme it.
Wow. Okay.
So it happens with happens often at Hansa Park and also Tripsdrill. Mm-hmm. Another German park.
Is that so they can spend more on the theming because they've saved up again?
Well, yeah, it means that they can open the ride earlier and benefit from the ride being open, but then make it look nice later. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you kind of stagger how much you're spending, but then also getting your return on investment earlier. Mm-hmm. You know, so
makes sense, but also.
But then you have
eliminates the hype.
Well, then you have a concrete box.
Yeah.
Like the one that's open in Tripsdrill, the station is literally concrete. Like, it's just all concrete.
Yeah.
It looks terrible now, but next year.
See, how did they
it'll be
market
good.
that as like, oh, come and do our new ride?
Because they market it as a new roller coaster, and then next year they market it as new theming. You
Wow.
know, look at this new station.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that anymore.
Yeah, it's weird, but.
Okay, I've actually chosen my opening.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm gonna choose?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna choose Everest at Disney
Oh.
because I think the hype would have been extremely big for that ride. And B, I just want to go to Disneyland like back then.
Why?
Because it would have been all like, you know, when Disney was starting out.
When
and
Disney
all,
was starting out
No,
in
but-
2007?
No, but like when it was like in the time of like now Disney's very mainstream and like
It's always been mainstream.
No, I mean it's all like 21st century
Right.
selfies, vloggers.
Oh,
like
I see. You want
it's been ruined
pre
by technology. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back then to before the world started, you know, being on Facebook all the time.
You'd get to see the Yeti actually working. There's a Yeti inside, but it doesn't work. Allegedly, it shakes the mountain too much,
Oh,
so they don't turn it on.
no, love that. Well, that'll be fun then, won't it? But yeah, I just want to go back to when Disney was like pure and untouched by the world. Do you know what I mean?
Never been a time.
No, but it's just become this thing now that is a bit weird.
Don't agree.
What, you think it's always been like a hipster thing to go to Disney?
Hipster? What do you mean? It's
No, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Like, it's a trend of like girls putting on the ears and
Oh, you
standing
mean
and
that?
posing. Like, that's why people go to Disney now, isn't it?
Well-
Just to take a photo.
Adults, maybe. I mean, families still go, don't they? That's not the reason families go.
Yeah, but before there wasn't any vloggers.
Yeah.
Do you not
No,
see what I mean? Like Instagrammers.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole kind of...
This
yeah, you
culture
would've-
of weird stuff.
You wouldn't have had anything
No,
like that.
even though that's basically what we would do if we went there.
Well, yeah. I mean, you would have had people taking photos still. And there still would have been that subculture, but it wouldn't be as obvious.
Yeah. But basically I want to experience Disney before technology took over the world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are you not feeling that answer?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Everest was cool. Don't think it was that mind-blowing, though.
No, but I'm not talking about Everest. Okay,
No.
well, what's the biggest hype of Disney, like old Disney rides?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Okay, cool.
What? Terra must have had some cool hype when it opened, but
What year was that though?
92 or 4?
That might have been cool.
Oh, it's not a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, we can't choose that.
None of the Disney roller coasters are that I mean, Rock
No,
and Roller
but that's
Coaster's
not
okay.
why I'm going, is it,
I know.
Harry?
Anyway,
I'm going to experience Disney.
I don't know my answer.
Okay, cool. I knew you were going to do this.
So the while I think about it, let's have a look at some other people's.
Okay.
We've got Digital Dan says he would like to have been at the opening of 13 at Alton Towers.
Why?
Although it would have been overhyped, I would have loved to have been there.
That's a really random one.
Well, it was a lot of hype for 13.
Was it?
The big marketing campaign. Mr. Jack Silkstone says, I love this question. I think in terms of UK rides, for me it has to be Oblivion. You know, again...
I think that's a solid one.
I really do
Oblivion.
as well. Tremendous marketing campaign. The hype must have been very high. Pleasure Beach Experience, as you might guess, said the big one. Says, don't remember much of it, but I would love to experience it as an adult. Coaster Force, Marcus from Coaster Force. Millennium Force for me. I was there some 3 months later, but the hype was still insane. Yeah, I can imagine the hype for the world's first, Giga Coaster would have been crazy. See, here's a good one. Here's a good choice, a good Disney choice. Matterhorn bobsleds, just so that I could say I was
yeah.
there for the for the day that would change roller coasters forever. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, but I don't like bobsleds.
It's not a bobsled.
Oh. Wait, is this the one that was built by, which bad manufacturer was it built by?
Arrow, you can't say bad.
Sorry, yeah. Which good manufacturer is it built by? Yeah, I'm not feeling Arrow, to be honest.
Lots of people say Nemesis.
Yeah,
Ben
I think that's
says
very
Nemesis.
popular.
Candle says Nemesis. Loki says Nemesis.
Somebody here called Tor RWKD says the scenic railway at Luna Park in Melbourne, which is in 1912. Imagine.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. You could choose some really solid coasters. You could choose some of the world's tallest roller coasters back in the 1910s, 1920s.
Yeah.
Which would have been something else as well.
That would have been really cool to see, like, everybody freaking out and being like, what is this?
Lots of modern rides, lots of Steel Vengeance. Phil says Steel Vengeance. CJ, Steel Vengeance.
Ryan Nixon says either Nemesis or a bit of a curveball, but Magnum XL 200. Interesting. Two very different ones there.
I've got a good answer for a possible one. Hypersonic XLC at King's Dominion.
Is this for your choice?
For my choice, potentially. So I was watching, well, for one of the videos, I was watching some footage of this ride from a guy called Sean Fulharty, right?
Yeah.
Who's famous in our circles. He was there, as I said, opening day, and like he was just capturing footage of his friends riding this coaster.
Oh.
So this was the world's first compressed air launch coaster.
Okay.
So before Intamin did the hydraulic thing, SNS were doing this. So let me just pull up the stats, because it's stupid stats even compared to now. So from 0 to 128 kilometers per hour in 1.8 seconds, and that is in miles per hour. It's 0 to 80 in 1.8.
Wow.
So
pretty mad then.
yeah, and it launches you just straight up into a chunky airtime hill. So yeah, but just by his footage, everyone there seemed to be like really crazy, you know, high on adrenaline,
losing
much.
their minds.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a good one. And it's just unique. And then it died pretty quickly, you know. So not many people even got to ride it. So that would have been cool. And there must have been quite a lot of hype for that, because it's quite a well-known park.
Yeah.
But yeah, then outside of that, X2. I don't know anything about X2's opening.
Right.
Either, you know. So I got no idea how hype it was. It must have been. It must have been pretty good.
Yeah. Which one are you going to choose then?
A hypersonic XLC.
Okay.
Because I can't ride it now.
Why?
It's gone.
Oh.
It's dead.
That's a good choice, actually. Something
Exactly.
that you can't even ride now.
Exactly. My thoughts,
Smart.
exactly. There you go. That's my choice.
It's mad to think that in the future some people will be like, oh, I really wish we were at the opening of, like, you know, rides that we're going to be able to go to the opening of. We'll be the ones that are there in real life.
Whoa.
If rides ever open again.
Yeah.
Properly. Unlike
Dunno,
Fly
man.
opened.
I don't know. Like, even Fly. If you went to the opening of Fly, it would have been hype, but it wouldn't have been that hype because there wasn't actually that many people there.
That's what I mean.
You know? So...
Corona's kind of killing the vibes right now.
It's interesting.
Even Wicker Man was ruined, though, because of the snow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just COVID.
I don't know. It's difficult. I think it's more, or obviously getting more and more difficult for parks to perhaps build a big hype campaign.
Yeah.
Because
it's all been done.
There's not much more uniqueness in the world in terms of roller coasters.
Yeah.